Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Veteran Mountain Man for another Prepared Monday, and this week's topic is going to be medical certification training. Part of the reason I'm bringing this topic up this week is I just wrapped up a CPR course last week, which was a good thing for me. I was a bit out of date. It had been almost a decade since I had done a CPR course, and so I had never actually used an AED in training. And I got a chance to actually work with a fully functional training AED. It's an AED that can't deliver an actual electric shock, but teaches you how to operate the AED in an emergency scenario. And one of the reasons I always recommend at least CPR and basic first aid is because 911 cannot always get to you immediately. I mean, we've all seen the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Andrew and Hurricane Hugo and Hurricane Camille and so on and so forth, and the earthquakes of the 80s in LA and San Francisco, and the 90s rioting in LA and the rioting in Ferguson. In a lot of these situations, 911 was tied up. And that meant that ambulances could not easily get through. So it never hurts to have some basic medical training, CPR, basic first aid, maybe some advanced first aid, and you need to keep up with the newest techniques and methods. That means go back every couple of years and get the training again. It does you good. It's not that expensive. You can go through a lot of different facilities and groups. I know the American Heart Association, along with the American Red Cross, the U.S. military, and several other organizations offer CPR courses and training, along with the YMCA. I also know that a lot of groups offer basic first aid training. Now, you won't be like EMT level, but you'll be enough to deal with most immediate emergencies and keep people stable long enough to allow help to come. And part of the reason for doing this is because you can't always rely on others. For those of us in the prepared community, we've learned this already. And so I'm telling you, if you haven't gotten any kind of basic first aid training, go do it. It's worth the time, it's worth the effort, it's worth the money. Now, it shouldn't be just you that does it. You need at least one other person in your household that has it. So realistically, anyone over the age of 15 should go get the training in your household. Now, why is that, you're going to ask? Well, anyone 15 or older is going to be responsible and responsive enough, as well as probably cool-headed enough to actually act in case of an emergency. And first aid, first responding type training is not just about the physical act of giving aid, but also how to control people around you into helping give aid. It teaches you how to divide up tasks, such as getting one person's attention in the crowd that is relatively calm and responsive, and having them do certain tasks while you physically help the person who's injured or not breathing. That way, you have somebody dealing with calling 911 and sitting on hold, or trying to talk to the operator, or at least getting them on the phone and then moving it over to speakerphone so that you can communicate with the operator on 911. You have people running and grabbing kits while you do basic first aid without your kit first. And that gives the person who's injured or harmed a better chance of surviving longer. So the point of the whole thing is don't be the only one in your family with it. Go get everybody in your family that training. And the training is good for you. Now, not everybody has to do it all at once. I'm not saying go flood the Y with every adult family member that you have and, end up filling up 3 or 4 classes back to back. That's a little unrealistic. But you should definitely do it. And when you're in a situation, don't panic, act. Acting was one of the concepts of citizenship when our country was founded. It was one of the reasons all men who were voters originally had to volunteer for service, whether it was slave patrol or militia service or whatever, was because A good citizen, an informed citizen, a citizen responsible for making choices for the rest of his citizenry, should also be willing to act to protect the citizenry. And that means acting to give medical aid where necessary and acting in defense of others when necessary. So, get the medical training. It's good for you. It'll help your family. It'll make your family sleep safer. It'll make your neighbors sleep safer if they ever need help and they find out. And you could end up helping someone who's forever grateful for it. Because people have emergencies every day. There are 300 million people in the United States and over 7 billion people on the planet. Someone, somewhere, at every minute of the day is having a medical emergency. And the more of us out there that can help them survive that initial few minutes, the much more likely they are that that emergency will not be the death of them. Because usually it's the first few minutes that's going to dictate whether it's going to be catastrophic or not. So be that difference and be that responsible citizen. Well, thank you all again for joining me for this issue of Prepared Monday. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like my content and you're following me here on YouTube. If you're on VidMe, please upvote and follow. Don't forget you can join me over at minds.com/Veteran Mountain Man for discourse and discussion. Also, if you leave comments down below, I am responsive to my comments. I will read and comment as appropriate. Thank you all again, and have yourselves a great day.